Of all the auto brands on the road today, only one has been named the best auto brand for 6 straight years. That brand is Mazda. Come shop and save on the award-winning lineup of new Mazdas right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, business owners. Phase 3. Woohoo! But do your customers know you're back? Well, that's where the Clarence Bug Show and Pelican Broadcasting can help. Right now, we've got great rates on advertising packages to help you get the word out. Shoot me an email at bugsclarence@gmail.com. Or better yet, call me up. I'd love to talk with you. 225-485-6839. Let's get together and make Phase 3 the best it can possibly be.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
They said I could find you here. Why are you fishing? Our company's got to ship out 2 full color brochures and 20 color copies. You're killing me.
It's done. Designed, printed, packaged, and shipped.
How?
You just got to know the right people. Baker Printing, the printing people.
How come you get to fish in this private lake?
Like I said, you just got to know the right people. You can know the right people too.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
As we start another week of the Clarence Bug Show, here's hoping that your weekend was an absolutely fabulous one. If not, you already know the drill, as we are fond of saying each and every Monday, right about this time of the day. If you didn't, good Lord willing, you will still be here when the next one comes our way, and you will have the opportunity to try it all over again. We start today's show with our National Day of Remembrance for the life and legacy of the late, great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Today, MLK Day, we look back on his life and legacy and all it has encompassed in this country since we were graced with his presence. I often wonder, as the years go by, what Dr. King would think of what we have become as America these days. There's probably not a single person watching right now of any persuasion, if you knew anything about the man at all. I can't imagine there's a Democrat, Republican, Black, white, Latino, Asian, gay, straight, religious, atheist, agnostic, whatever, that could come to the conclusion that Dr. King would be pleased with what he sees in America today. To think anything other than that is either, one, a complete disillusionment of what the man stood for and what we have become, or two, totally unrealistic analytics of what has transpired in this country over the years. This weekend and this morning, I spent a good deal of time listening to various speeches delivered by Dr. King during his lifetime. And it's troubling, the departure that we have made 180 degrees opposite from the things pointed out in many of his notable speeches, not to mention the less obscure ones. Today, all across this country, you will hear replayed the I Have a Dream speech, Let Freedom Ring speech, Drum Major for Justice speech, all of them played all across the country. And you don't have to be the absolute brightest bulb in the chandelier to see how woefully short we have come in fulfilling a lot of this, how exactly opposite we've gone in attempting to fulfill a lot of this, and how, maybe more notable than anything else, we still have problems confronting the truth of what is happening in our country. One of the most well-known, well, two of them actually, the Let Freedom Ring and the I Have a Dream speech, have some serious ironies contained in them as it pertains to where we find ourselves now in this country's history. For the sake of expediency, my man Jonathan out in the truck has loaded for us the Let Freedom Ring speech, the pertinent parts, with a different spin, if you will. It gives you the opportunity, those of us that are visually oriented, to be able to view the words as well. Jonathan, if you will, let's roll that, please.
Let freedom ring, and if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Understanding that the context for that particular part of the speech delved around the racial problems facing our country then, it's still ironic that today, some 50 plus years after this speech was delivered, you do realize we are less free today than any time since then. With the advent of 9/11 and the Patriot Act, with the COVID-19 lockdowns, with the censorship of tens of millions of Americans and their opinion that their most recent presidential election contained more fraud than maybe any other in the history of this country. People losing their jobs for simply voicing an opinion. You do realize that we are less free today than any time since Dr. King uttered those words that are now etched in immortality. Ironically, Dr. King was the one that championed the cause of individuals being judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin. And yet, today, 57 years later, more than any other time since that speech was delivered, we are judging people based solely on the color of their skin. I would like to think that Dr. King would find some positives in what we've become as America. But I also have to think, as a realist, as a pragmatist, that Dr. King would be sorely disappointed in how we've dealt with the things that he stood for most ardently. It's amazing how, and we've all heard this before, everything old is new again. There's nothing new under the sun. The more things change, the more they stay the same. We've heard all these old adages. But the one that may best describe it all is the one that says the proof of the pudding is in the eating. All you have to do is look at America today. What we have allowed the media, the politicians, those with an agenda, social media, to gin us up and split us up among ourselves, to realize quickly this is not what Dr. King had in mind. It is a sad day when it takes 56, 57 years of history for us to go 180 degrees in the opposite direction. But it's even sadder when we don't possess the wherewithal to realize that we're in reverse. Sadly, for most people that are watching right now, it's not the reality of your everyday life. It is what the politicians, the media, the social media influencers want you to think. At the end of the day, they are who they are, they do what they do. But when the American public at large becomes stupid enough to follow it, to buy into it, to take it as gospel, where does the real blame lie? Just a question. And for those that choose to go along with it, that's the perfect intro for the next segment. Now that's just stupid. First break of today's show. We'll get her done. We talk more. That's right. It's Monday. It's coming up next here on the Clarence Bugg Show. Stay close.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Team Honda wants to thank you for once again making us Louisiana's #1 new car dealer by offering you never-before-seen savings. For the first time ever, get 0% financing up to 60 months on some of your favorite Honda models. Get thousands in savings right now at Team Honda on Segan Lane.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing. You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day. Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Mandafine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Mandafine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Mandafine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to the Monday edition of the Clarence Bug Show. It is a regular staple for Mondays as we continue to be witnesses to the ever-encroaching level of stupidity in this country. Not, mind you, S-T-U-P-I-D. That's like this level, stupid. Here we're talking about S-T-O-O-P-I-D. That's a whole different level of stupid. So we start today's segment in the great state of Connecticut. 64-year-old Ellen Needleman O'Neill had the misfortune of crashing her Lexus sedan into another car, 2:30 in the afternoon. So police show up to investigate this accident, and immediately they smell alcohol just emanating from the interior of the car. So they perform a field sobriety test, and of course, a little later on, they bring out the breathalyzer, and Needleman O'Neill proceeds to blow .23. Now, for those of you that I'll do the math for you, that's this much short of 3 times the legal limit. So they haul her down to jail and they process her, and 6 hours later, after being released, Needleman O'Neill decides, I had a rough day. I need a drink. So what does she do? She gets back in her car, and proceeds to try and drive to the nearest liquor store. Of course, she's weaving all over the road. So again, they light her up and pull her over. 6 hours later, she still blows .09. So back to the pokey we go. 3 times the legal limit the first time. 6 hours later. Now, I guess it's possible if you are this much below 3 times the legal limit, 6 hours later, you forgot you just got out of jail. Why? For doing the same thing you're getting ready to do now, which is drive to the liquor store. Saddest of all, when you engage in behavior of this sort, it's just a matter of time. And how many times have we seen it where it's the innocent person that she runs over that pays the price? No word yet on whether or not she was allowed to bond out a second time. I just pray that the good Lord in his wisdom will watch over the motoring public that shares the roadways with this woman. 6 hours later, you don't walk, you don't send somebody, you drive to the liquor store after blowing right at 3 times the legal limit? Yep. Now that's just stupid. Second, in today's world, this is as sad a commentary as I will probably ever make. We are getting accustomed to being censored on a massive scale. Recently, all you social media addicts, you saw Amazon kick Parler off, saying, we can't have people inciting violence and using rhetoric that, could inflame the masses and influence people to do things that could lead to violence. Sounds good at face value, does it not? Yes, it does. Thank you for the confirmation. But did you know Amazon is now catching all sorts of heat? Because come to find out, Amazon is selling tons of products inciting violence against conservatives. Come to find out, there is one vendor in particular selling T-shirts with the caption, black shirt, big bold white letters, "Kill all Republicans." Now, you can buy that on Amazon, but you can't tweet on Parler, "The election was a fraud." We also now find out over 100 different products are being sold on Amazon that directly target conservative individuals with messages of violence. Coincidence? Like the coffee mug with the picture of Donald Trump on it and the caption, "Where is Lee Harvey Oswald when you really need him?" Coincidence? I guess you could say that. What's most troublesome out of all of this, I mean, aside from the very nature of the products themselves, there's also over 100 products being sold on Amazon with the acronym ACAB. It's an acronym that's real popular among left-wing rioters. And for those that don't know, the letters ACAB stands for All Cops Are, I will insert the clean version, illegitimate children. The other B word. Over 100 different products proclaiming all cops are illegitimate children. Fill in the blank with the expletive I deleted. Meanwhile, Amazon, in its terms of service, said, quote, "We do not allow products that promote, incite, or glorify hatred, violence, racial, sexual, or religious intolerance, or promote organizations with such views. We'll also remove listings that graphically portray violence or victims of violence." Now, when you engage in behavior of this sort, particularly under the guise of your terms of service, and you still do 180 degrees opposite, it says to me it's one of two things at play here. Either that's just stupid, or you think I'm stupid. Then again, maybe it's a combination of both. You stupid because you think I'm stupid. How in the world could Amazon think we can do this, still sell the stuff we're selling, but ain't nobody gonna notice? How could you really think you could do this under the guise of what you're doing it under, and nobody would notice? Listen, y'all. There's the old saying that what goes around comes around. For those of you that think censorship is okay, for those of you that think just because somebody's opinion doesn't mesh with yours, it's okay to deny them the right to have that opinion, just remember, your time's coming. Can I slide him in? Yeah, I'm going to slide you in real quick before this break. Mark, how are you, my friend?
How you doing?
It's still a great day to be an American, big guy. How are you?
Well, I wanted to see if you heard the latest.
What's that?
It was reported this morning that CNN is trying to get Newsmax off the air.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard it.
It was also reported that they want Hannity gone.
Uh-huh.
Clarence, I don't think there's been too many times that I've told you something wrong.
Uh-huh.
Mark my words. Communism has been knocking on the door for a long time. It's now in the house.
Yep. My friend, I wish I could say that that's a news flash, but you know I've been watching like you've been watching, and I can't disagree. Mark, I got to run, my friend. Thank you. The foot, Mark, it's not just the foot in the door. From the waist down, that whole leg is in the door. Sadly, Mark, the number of people that can't see it is staggering. I'm a little late. I know, Marty. I know. I hadn't heard the new one. I know you're itching to use. I know you're itching to use that new clicker you got over there. Let me get this break out of the way. We'll talk more next on the Clarence Bug Show, here only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Jaguar Nation, we need your help in masking up Louisiana.
Masks help us slow the spread of COVID-19.
During this time, we must continue to wear a mask, wash our hands, and practice social distancing.
It's important that we continue to abide by the CDC's guidelines to stop the spread.
Jaguar Nation, we challenge you to mask up. Go Jags!
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Of all the auto brands on the road today, only one has been named the best auto brand for 6 straight years. That brand is Mazda. Come shop and save on the award-winning lineup of new Mazdas right now at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda on Airline.
Caught spiders? Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. It is, I'm trying to think, this literally just popped into my head. Help me out, Marty. There is no joy in Mudville because Mighty Casey has struck out. What was that nursery rhyme, that poem? Oh, man, Mighty Casey has struck out. You remember the one, though? Sort of. Yeah, sort of. He went to public school. Y'all got to forgive him. No, for the record, I did too. All right, so get that off your mind. It is, oh, man, the aftertaste from yesterday, and y'all know where I'm going, Saints and Buccaneers, the aftertaste is going to linger for a long time. And one guy that I know, I saw him just a few seconds ago rinsing his mouth out. That ain't going to get it out, Jonathan. That ain't going to get it out, Jonathan. I know the aftertaste for you is probably worse than most because I get the feeling you watched the game yesterday what is probably Drew's swan song with your own little Drew? I'm imagining that's what you did yesterday.
Oh, CB, thanks for having me on, bud. I'm still trying to process the game from last night. Look, there was never a doubt in my mind that whenever Drew Brees was going to be finished, that's how he was going to go out, because he isn't the hero that New Orleans deserved, but he was the one that they needed.
Yeah.
I mean, it did so much for the city for him to go out like that, if it truly was his last game, which I believe it was. It's heartbreaking. It's a shame, but, I mean, I talk about leaving it all on the field. Drew Brees emptied his tank for the city, for the team, for the organization. Couldn't ask for more from a professional football player than what Drew Brees gave to the New Orleans Saints.
Turnover fever against a division opponent with championship on the line. How do you explain that, Jonathan?
Well, everybody talks about how it's hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, and there are some stats to point otherwise. But look, you face a team twice, you start to develop some familiarity with them, their tendencies and situations, and how they're going to attack you when you show sets on offense. But the first 2 times the Saints played the Bucs, they got a lot of pressure on Tom Brady, just using the front four of the defensive line.
Right.
That was not the case last night. And then you mentioned the turnovers. You can't lose a turnover battle 4-0 in the playoff game and expect to win. That's just a bad formula. Drew Brees didn't look comfortable early in the game. Of course, he had the 2-punt returns that led to only 6 points. That was a big deal for the Saints. Really got them off a rhythm. But look, I mean, they were driving the third quarter to have a 10-point lead on the Buccaneers, and then they had the fumble. And look, I read a tweet last night that really hit the nose. It was every emotion under the sun watching Leonard Fournette and Devin White do that to the Saints. I mean, you love Devin White, you love Leonard Fournette, but with the different Tigers. But to see him come in the Bucs uniform in the Superdome in front of only 3,500 fans, it was tough to watch.
You look at the fact that the first 6 points should have easily, under any other circumstances, been 14. When I saw that, I immediately said, I can't say on air what I said, but I think you get the idea. This is not going to be good today. Was yesterday just, quote, one of those days?
Yeah, a lot of things didn't go right for the Saints early. I mean, you talk about the injuries, Taysom Hill, Latavius Murray, and then Devontae Harris go out. And then you really limit yourself, no big play ability. The Saints haven't stretched the field throughout the whole season, whether it's Drew Brees' arm or a scheme or what he's seen against the defense. And granted, he just came back a few weeks ago from having 11 cracked ribs and a punctured lung. I mean, the guy is still not going to be 100%, no matter who it is in the pocket. You don't want to get hit. You don't want those 350-pound linemen landing on top of you. So he was a little giddy in the pocket, that interception that led to the short field for the Bucs. That's really on Drew Brees. Then you had, the fumble, and then the ball that was tipped late in the game to give another interception, this third one. Look, throughout Drew Brees' career, I've always said when he's good for 1 interception, he's good for 2. I mean, you try to press a little bit, get yourself back in the game.
Right.
The Saints, in the history of the Saints, or with the Sean Payton era, they have thrown the ball more than any other team in the NFL. Yes, the last couple of the seasons they've tried to run the ball more. Alvin Kamara did have a good game when he got going a little bit, but that Bucs defense is very stout. They have a good front four, great linebackers, and a very young secondary that can make plays. And really, the Saints had to take what they were given. A few times, unfortunately, Drew Brees didn't see an open man in the flat or in the middle. If it was up to me, I'm giving Alvin Kamara the ball almost every time down the field. You hold Michael Thomas without a catch for the first time in his career when he plays a game. That's a very big deal. Of course, Sean Payton said earlier in the week that they could not win a Super Bowl without Michael Thomas. And was that true? I mean, the guy had 0 catches, and the Saints couldn't find the end zone early.
Yep.
Overall, a very tough game to watch. I can't say I'm surprised, and at least the referees didn't steal it from the Saints. They lost the game on their own. It didn't come down to a late, horrible no call or a bad call. So, look, I point back 2018 with that no call. That should have been Drew Brees' last ride. Go to the Super Bowl, win or lose. At least you're good to go out on top.
Yeah.
Come back 2 years, deal with injuries. I mean, look, moving forward, if that was Drew Brees' last game, The Saints were 8-1 without Drew Brees in the last 2 seasons, with Teddy Bridgewater going undefeated and Taysom Hill going 3-1. That is a good clip. Saints do have a very talented team. Unfortunately, $99 million over the cap heading into the offseason. This team is going to look a lot different when they line up next season.
That was going to be the next question. All the energy and prognostication is focusing on a Drew Brees-less New Orleans Saints team. But that's not the only place where we could see a whole lot of different faces, is it?
No, you're exactly right. I mean, sadly, I think Thomas Morstead also played his last game in the Superdome. The only other player that played in that Super Bowl in 2009 was Thomas Morstead. I believe he will be gone. There's going to be a lot of restructuring with contracts. Of course, we know Mickey Loomis is a wizard with the contracts. They will be able to keep a lot of guys who some think that they won't be able to keep. But unfortunately, there's just too much money over the cap to be able to keep all the players intact. And we're going to see a lot of turnover with the veterans. Possibly Malcolm Jenkins leaves. Michael Thomas has a huge contract. This whole season has been a loss for Michael Thomas. He got hurt week 1 against the Bucks late in that game. Struggled to get back on the field when he was there. He really didn't look like himself, and especially last night. I mean, outside of the first couple minutes of that game, Michael Thomas could not get off of the press. That huge contract needed to have more production out of that spot. Then you look at the money they gave Taysom Hill as a backup quarterback. Do they keep Jameis Winston? He did come in the game and throw a nice pass for a touchdown. You just don't know what Mickey Loomis is going to be able to do with all that money, how he's going to restructure those deals. But like I said, this team is going to look very different next season.
Ultimately, let's say for the sake of the conversation, Jonathan, this is the end of the era for Drew Brees in New Orleans. Ultimately, what do you think his legacy will be?
Well, one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time, no doubt. One of the most prolific passers, very accurate, very smart in the pocket, but really off the field, how he was able to revigorate the whole city and region after Katrina coming in, giving people something to believe in, was an outstanding leader, always said the right things in interviews and was very gracious and humble in everything he did, but a very fierce competitor, did not want to leave, didn't want to hang it up. Look, no one wants Drew Brees, his legacy, to take a hit with this last game from last night more than Drew Brees.
Right.
That's not how he wanted to go out. The guy gave absolutely everything he had to the city of New Orleans, to the Saints, left it all out on the field. His legacy, I believe, will be looked at as one of the best to ever do it, but only that one Super Bowl win leaves Saints fans thinking, how did this happen? How in the 14 years of Sean Payton and Drew Brees is one of the best offenses the NFL has ever seen did they only play in one Super Bowl? It really is going to be a shame. He deserved better than that. But what a legacy. I mean, number 9, one of the best to ever do it. And look, people forget, he's barely 6 feet tall, playing the league with 6'5", 6'8" guys.
Right.
Can't see over the offensive line. Has to absolutely know and understand every defense he faces and where his offensive receivers are going to find holes and gaps and zones. It is not easy to do. You see something pre-snap. Look, when that ball snaps, you have less than 3 seconds to find your receiver, place an accurate ball, and complete a pass before you're getting hit by somebody much larger than you. And he did it game in and game out.
Well, I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said, except for that part about he always answered every question in every interview the way you'd want him to. Well, except for that one time, but we're not going to go back and
yeah, we don't talk about that
today. when can the viewers get your absolutely insightful commentary along with the spicy one himself on Tigers Roar, Jonathan?
That's right. Tigers Roar every Wednesday right here on the Pelican, 8 o'clock prime time. Myself and Buddy Sanji always give you the updates on LSU, but of course I got to sprinkle in some Saints flavor because I'm from New Orleans and my son's name is Drew, so that's pretty much all I need to know about that. I appreciate you, CB. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Pelican Broadcasting. All of the shows we do are up there, and I'm also on Twitter. Give me a follow at JPochet3.
Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon, Jonathan.
Thank you, CB.
All that is true what Jonathan said, unless, of course, Bert Carson says otherwise. Inside joke. Final break of today's show. I know you're watching, Bert. That was just for you. Oh, gotta stretch it out just a little bit? A little bit or a lot? Just a little bit. All right, because I know what it is. See, I can see through the phone. And so I know that Jonathan, was trying to hook some other things up on it. Nah, we're good. There you go. Back to the truck. Wink, wink. We'll put this final segment to bed. Final commercial break, that is. Come back, put this big old pretty bow on this puppy, and we wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. Oh, no more Saints football. That's next on the Clarence Bugg Show.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Mandafine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Mandafine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Mandafine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show. I am a big believer in controlling the things that are within your control and not fretting, fussing over, fuming over a whole lot the things you cannot control. There are certain things that you will encounter in this journey that we call life that you just can't do a darn thing about. Does not matter how hard you try, doesn't matter what resources are at your disposal, doesn't matter what your background is. There are just things in life that you cannot control. That's a given. It's a part of life. But what's particularly troubling are the things that we as just regular people have firmly within our control, but for whatever reason, we choose not to. Now, typically, not exclusively, but typically, there are consequences that come along with these actions. And many times, the recipients of the consequences are not the individuals that caused the consequences. For example, this past weekend, here in the state of Louisiana, in Caldwell Parish, there was arguably the most needless, senseless waste of young lives, maybe in recent memory. 2 15-year-olds this day are dead. Another 15-year-old remains in the hospital only because they were riding in a boat with 55-year-old Travis McFarlane of Pine Prairie, who was drunk while piloting the boat. According to the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries and law enforcement, the boat driven by Mr. McFarlane slammed into a dock and ejected all 3 of the 15-year-olds and himself from the boat. A breathalyzer was administered and, in fact, proved that he was intoxicated at the time of the crash. Mr. McFarlane, for his part, was arrested and booked into the Caldwell Parish Correctional Center for DUI and 2 counts of vehicular homicide. I cannot begin to imagine what the families of those 2 15-year-olds are dealing with, particularly in the wake of trying to keep them protected through all of last year, through the COVID-19 pandemic, trying to keep them safe as violent protests erupted all across the country, despite what the mainstream media would have you to believe actually happened. To get through all of this, only to lose 2 of them. Lives hadn't really begun yet, never made it to adulthood. All because they were riding in a boat with someone who was impaired. Many of us, we understand the circle of life. And many of us, while we may not understand it, we may not have a true appreciation for it, it's a little easier to deal with when an individual has led, quote, a full life. For many of us, if the person in question that is now deceased lost their life in an episode, an activity, an incident that was totally beyond anybody's ability to stop, we deal with that. But it's incidents like this, totally and completely unavoidable. These are the ones that hurt more than any other. If it had only been Mr. McFarlane in the boat, that would have been one thing. But this day, 2 families are planning a funeral. 2 15-year-olds have had their lives tragically ended. All because of a conscious decision. It pains me to say that this sort of behavior will continue in our state unless and until the right person's loved one gets killed. We have found every excuse in the book in this state for continuing to embrace drinking and driving, drinking and boating, drinking and whatever. And at some point, you have to wonder, what is it going to take for us to come to our senses? Again, as sad a commentary as it is, my humble opinion only, it's only because the right person's loved one hasn't been killed yet. At some point, one of 2 things is going to happen. Either we, the people, are going to have to ascertain, you know what, we're better than this. You know what, with all the crap going on around us that can kill us, this is something that we can control, and by God, it's time we do so. Either that, or the right person's loved one is going to get killed needlessly, senselessly. And there will then be a resulting crackdown on the rest of us. And who knows, speaking of sad commentaries, maybe that's what we need. Because some of y'all are too stupid to govern yourselves, so you need to be governed. 2 15-year-olds from something that could have so very easily been avoided. Sadly, it ain't the first time, and it's probably not going to be the last. That being said, I see you waving, Marty. Time's up and got to go. But yep, this day, just like any other, I give it to you. America, we ain't perfect. But for this old boy's money is still the best there is, and God knows there is no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, he loves you, and I do too. Best part about it, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow. God bless.